2005 season would be revoked. The committee did decide to allow Rovers to compete in the league and cup competitions through the 2005 season, but they were deducted 8 league points. On the pitch, Rovers took on St Pat's at Richmond Park. So a black night for Shamrock Rovers off the pitch. On it, they were hoping to claw back some of those points. Hat-trick era from last week, Pat McCourt was looking to inspire Rovers to back-to-back wins, and he nearly helped Roddy Collins' men into a lead on 29 minutes, collecting the ball from the right-hand side of the area before drilling the ball across the 6-yard box and just missing out Mark Rutherford at the back post. 5 minutes before the break, Trevor Malloy blasted wide with the Pats defence worried. David Mooney, though, was well placed if spotted by Malloy. 0-0 in a disappointing first half. Pats had the ball in the net 5 minutes after the restart. Gerard Rowe's cross from the left looked to have went straight in, but Robbie Doyle was flagged offside. The home side, though, were in front on 70 minutes, and it's a goal that Rovers keeper Russell Payne won't want to see again. Keith Fatty's cross from the right looked to be a routine take for the goalkeeper, but he somehow spilled the ball over the line. Rovers kept battling and got the reward in the dying seconds. A long, hopeful ball pumped forward by Stephen Goff. Colin Foley headed straight to David Mooney, and he crashed his shot off the crossbar into the back of the net. 1-1 was how it finished. St Pat's now stretched their unbeaten home run to 8, while for Shamrock Rovers, every point counts in a big way.
Anything they put up to us, we dealt with. McCartan, the whole wide men, changed our system, dealt with it very well. Thought we were excellent tonight. Second half performance was brilliant. They never got a shot and goal. Big ball into the box, didn't deal with it. Again, an individual error, but we'll deal with it. Trevor, we're getting there. We're unbeaten at home again. I thought we were a well better team tonight. Outplayed them. Anything they put up to us, no problem. Great credit to the players. Second half performance was great.
A scrappy game, you know. The first 15 minutes they played to contain and tighten the whole game up, and they put us under pressure. There could have been 7 or 8 set pieces. So the bonus tonight, we didn't concede a set piece, which we have been doing. We changed it around to 4-4-2, and it settled down a little bit. We got 1 or 2 chances. It was a tight game, very scrappy, not good to look at, you know. But to concede the goal we conceded, you'd be sick to lose the game on that one. And it looked like we were going to lose the game on that one. So we threw caution to the wind, put a few balls into the box, and thankfully one that broke for us. And fair play to David Mooney. He's been absolutely brilliant the last 3 weeks, and he went and notched himself a goal. So happy enough.
Well, Paul, I might start with you on this one. Of course, we were both at Richmond Park on Friday night. We'll talk about the game shortly, which, to be fair, wasn't a great match on Friday evening. But the points deduction for Shamrock Rovers, 8 points. Is it fair? I mean, will there be sympathy there from the Aircom League, or did it deserve what they got?
Well, from a personal point of view, there'll be sympathy for the players, because the players are victims in this. Players done nothing wrong. Whatever went on off the pitch, rules are there, they have to be complied with. If the club didn't comply with the rules, they get their punishment. But realistically, the players ultimately are the ones who suffer. So I'd have sympathy for the players, because they've earned 9 points in the pitch. They look at the paper on the Saturday morning, they've only 1 point. There's 8 points just wiped off the slate, it's hard on the players.
You were in a similar position, albeit when you were with St Pat's, you were near the top of the table, of course, but you were still deducted something like 10 points. I mean, how did that affect St Pat's as a group of players that time when you were told you were getting the points taken off you? Yeah, well, it was close to the end of the season, and we were right up there. I think we might have been leading the table with Shelbourne's touch and go between the two of us, and we heard the news we were to be deducted 10 points, and initially it was devastating. You know, you go from being probably a point clear to being 9 points behind. But for us, it motivated us greatly. It galvanised the whole team together. And, you know, we rolled up our sleeves and we dug in. And I think we had 7 games left at the time, and we won every single game. Fortunately, it wasn't enough with the 9 points deducted for us to be the official champions of that season. But on the pitch, we won the league. You know, I don't want to go back over history in there. But you're not leaving that go, no? No, we did, though. I mean, we gained more points on the pitch. We as players suffered. So you feel sorry, obviously, for the Rovers players at this point in time? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And how will they respond, do you think, Pat? I mean, it's a tough test. They have 1 point, as Paul mentioned there now.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very hard. I mean, as I said, I think they fully deserve the deduction. I mean, the club put in the wrong accounts for the wrong year, which they must have known what they were doing from the very start, and I think they definitely deserve to be deducted points. They're probably lucky that wasn't deducted more, because, as I said, the rules are there and they have to be applied. from the players' point of view, there's not much they can do now. They've just got to get on with it. As I said, might galvanise them, get a few wins on the board, and they can still stay up. But it's going to be a struggle for them now.
Suppose they have the right man there to motivate them, Roddy Collins.
I'm sure Roddy will find some positive out of it somewhere along the road. But as I said, these things happen. I mean, there's nothing the players can do about it. It's not their fault. But again, the club, and that's where it's the club's responsibility to do the business properly and to do it correctly. And that's why the UEFA licensing thing now is so important, that people have to do their business right. Rovers didn't, and they've been punished for it.
On the field of play, Paul, I mentioned it wasn't a great game. Pat's, of course, going ahead, and that late goal for Rovers, giving them now effectively the only point they have in the table.
Yeah, as you said earlier, I think both sets of players would agree they could have performed better on the night. It was a tense game because both sides being down close to the bottom, neither side wanted to lose in the night. Pats went ahead. I felt they were probably just the better side in the second half, but to give away the goal in the manner they gave it away, like, it was devastating. I mean, from a manager's point of view, you're 1-0 up, it's going into injury time, the game is dead. A long ball into the box, it's an error by Colin Foley. He didn't hear the keeper calling him, and they stick the ball into the net. If somebody scores a goal, 30-yard volley into the top corner, you can accept that. There's nothing you can do about that. Or if they carve you open, good play, you put your hands up and you say, OK, we conceded a late goal. Yeah. But the manner in which they conceded it was devastating.
It's been a mixed start for your club, St. Pat's, really, hasn't it? I mean, at home it's OK because you're unbeaten for 8 now, going into taking into last season account as well. Yeah,
they seem to go ahead in games, and they've conceded a lot of late goals this season, which is something that you want to eradicate if you want to, push yourself up the table. But I'm sure as the season goes on they'll improve, because there are a lot of new players in the squad this year. So it's just a case of them really gelling together and pushing themselves up the table.
OK, just a final note for Pat on Shamrock Rovers. Do you think they can bounce back and get out of the position they're in?
It's going to be a struggle for them. I think people like Pat McCourt will obviously be very, very important for them now. I mean, luckily they got a draw over. Imagine they had actually lost that game, come off the pitch, to see they got deducted the 8 points as well. So, I mean, there's still a long way to go in the season. At least they've got plenty of games to get a chance to get themselves out of that bottom two. And, they have got some talented players. They might just do it.
OK, big test.